ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වරට SLT 4G වෙතින් දැන් PO TV නරඹන්න. ඉදිරියටම ගෙන යන SLT 4G.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට ඒක
Tonight, exit strategy. Curfew in most areas to be relaxed from next Monday. High-risk zones, however, remain under lockdown. Measured approach. The government sets out employee quotas to be deployed in Colombo from next week. Ray of light. 9 more COVID-19 patients discharged from hospital. Setting the story straight. The Prime Minister insists that the Election Commission has no power to postpone polls. All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Saturday, the 18th of April, 2020.
SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල්තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammik Ekanaika. Now, there was more good news for Sri Lankans today as 9 COVID-19 patients left hospitals after fighting off the virus successfully. It gives a welcome boost to the island's recovery rate, which is at almost 35%, and a testament to the country's medical sector. There, however, were 4 positive cases as well during the day. The new cases is a reminder that the pandemic is not over until it is fully controlled and eradicated, which was also the message of the Director General of Health Services.
9 more COVID-19 patients made their way home today after being discharged from hospitals following full recoveries. That said, with the detection of 4 fresh cases today, the overall cases of COVID-19 in the country rose to 248, and among them are 155 active cases. With 6 cases detected last evening, all of which from Colombo, the number of total COVID-19 cases in the district reached 55. 7 people have succumbed to the virus so far, while 86 people have been discharged after complete recovery. Meanwhile, 103 are currently under medical observation. In another development, Sri Lanka conducted the island's highest number of PCR tests in a day to date yesterday by carrying out 695 tests. It yielded 6 COVID-19 positive cases. 3 of them are women who were being quarantined at the Punani facility, while the other 3 are from the Valisara quarantine centre. The 3 infected persons found from the Punani quarantine facility are the wife and 2 children of the COVID-19 patient who sought treatment at the Maharagama Apeksha Hospital's emergency treatment unit after withholding information on symptoms. The 3 remaining people are the husband and 2 children of the COVID-19 patient detected from Kotahena. In the meantime, public health inspectors inspected the areas of coronavirus positive patients were residing in.
ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම කොරෝනා අවදානම ඉවරයි කියන්න බෑ අපිට කොරෝනා සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අවසන් වන තුරු. මොකද අපි පැහැදිලිව දන්නවා මේක සමහර වෙලාවට එක් වතාවක් නෙවෙයි නැවත රැල්ලක් හැටියට එන්න පුළුවන්. අපි කියන්නේ ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම ලංකාවේ එකක් තමයි සමාජය තුල රෝගයේ පැතිරීමේ ප්‍රවණතාවය නොමැති බව. ඒ වගේම එතකොට ඒ තත්ත්වය දිගට පවත්වා ගැනීම තුල පමණයි මේ අවදානම පහ කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ.
Meanwhile, with the identification of a man suspected of contracting the virus in the area of Mabula in Hangwella, health authorities took measures to disinfect the area. Biosamples of 28 people exposed to the suspected patient was obtained for testing purposes. Meanwhile, biological samples were also obtained from police officers, public inspectors, intelligence officers and priests who assisted in identifying the infected people in Suduvalla of Jayala. Also, 19 persons suspected to have been exposed to COVID-19 patients were subjected to self-quarantine today. At the Kandakadu Quarantine Centre, 5 people with severe alcohol addiction have attempted to escape. In the meantime, health authorities have taken measures to extend the 14-day quarantine period to 21 days.
දැන් මේ වෙනකොට කියන සෞඛ්‍ය ශාස්ත්‍රය අවුලුන් කියන ආකාරයෙන් මේක වැඩි කාල පරාසයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි දැක්කා. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද දින 21ක කරුණ ලැබුවා. නමුත් ඉස්සරයි දැමු අතර වෙනස ඇවිල්ලා අපි දින 21ක් දක්වා රඳව ගන්නවා කිව්වට PCR පරීක්ෂණ දින 10කින් කරුණ ලබනවා. එසේ PCR පරීක්ෂණවලදී වුණ ආසාදිතෙක් බවට පත් වෙලා හිටියේ නැත්නම් එතකොට වහාම ඔවුන්ව ඊට පහුවෙන්දම ආසාදිතෙක් නොවේ නම් අපි ඔවුන්ව ඒ ආකාරයෙන් ඉවත් කිරීමට කටයුතු කරනු ලබනවා.
Meanwhile, the state of isolation has also been lifted on the 7 villages in Atalugama. In the meantime, relatives of the residents in Nagalagam Vidya, which is currently isolated, were allowed to distribute essential food items today as well. In more developments, another batch of residents in Maradana returned to their homes after successfully completing the quarantine process.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
In the meantime, the government today announced a range of updates and amendments to the prevailing island-wide curfew. It also stipulates the size of the cadres state institutions should have at work at any given day. However, the cadre of private institutions are left at the discretion of relevant institutional heads.
The President's Media Division today announced that the island-wide curfew imposed in all districts except Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Putlam, Kandy, Kegol and Ampara will be lifted on Monday the 20th of April at 5 am and will be reinforced the same day at 8 pm. Accordingly, the curfew in the rest of the 19 districts will come into effect at 8 pm and be lifted at 5 am the next day on a daily basis until further notice. The President's Media Division also announced that the curfew will continue to be in effect in the Alavatugoda, Akurana, Varakapola and Akkarepattu police areas of the Kandy, Kegol and Ampara districts respectively. Curfew in the remainder of the police areas in the said districts will be removed at 5 am and be reinforced at 8 pm on Monday the 20th of April, with the pattern repeating each day. Meanwhile, the curfew will continue to be enforced in the Kotahena, Grand Pass, Bambalapitiya, Keselwatta, Maradana, Gothatuwa, Mulleriyawa, Vellampitiya, Mount Lavinia, Dehiwala and Kohuwala police areas of the Colombo district. In the district of Gampaha, free movement will not be allowed in the police areas of Jayala, Kochikade and Siduwa. In the Putlam district, curfew will continue to be in effect in the police areas of Putlam, Maravila and Vennappua. In the meantime, Bandaragama, Payagala, Peruola and Aludgama police areas in the Kalutara district will also be under curfew. As for the rest of the police areas in the Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Putlam, the curfew will be lifted at 5 am on Wednesday the 22nd of April and be reimposed at 8 pm on the same day. The pattern will also repeat on a daily basis. What's more, according to the President's Media Division, schools, universities, tuition classes and other educational institutions as well as cinema halls should remain closed until further notice. Although departments, corporations, banks and other state institutions operate as usual in areas where curfew has been relaxed. It also says that 1/3 of the staff at state institutions in Colombo must report for work, while in other districts that figure is 50%. Employees at state institutions who do not report to work are ordered to work from home. Private sector institutions are instructed to commence work at 10 am and the heads of institutions at both private and state sector are to decide the number of employees reporting for work. The communique issued by the Presidential Media Division states that all institutions should follow health instructions on curbing COVID-19 to the letter. In the meantime, the PMD says that the Sri Lanka Transport Board and the railway services should provide transport and that all employees of state transport services and essential services must report to work. What's more, it says that only half of the full capacity of passengers should board buses, vans and trains and that all vehicles should be decontaminated. Also, the communique prohibits all types of festivals, pilgrimages, trips, carnivals, processions, meetings until further notice, while further stating that social gatherings hinder curbing of the virus's spread. Religious ceremonies and events should also be suspended. More information can be obtained via our webpage www.AdaDerana.lk.
Now, following the rapid increase in illicit production of liquor in the island with the onset of the curfew, Excise Department warns of strict action against those found producing moonshine. Furthermore, it also cautioned that the proliferation of illicit liquor is equally dangerous as the rapid spreading coronavirus.
Lockdowns have become common practice across the world as countries attempt to mitigate the spread of coronavirus COVID-19. Sri Lanka too is no different as it is one of the earliest countries to impose a curfew. 30 days on from its imposition, some people still pay little regard to government calls to stay indoors during the curfew, even though venturing outdoors sans a valid curfew permit is declared a punishable offence. As a result, 261 people were arrested for violating the curfew during 6-hour period from 6 am to 12 pm today. 78 vehicles were also seized by police during that time. Today's arrests bring the total number of arrests over similar offences since the 20th of last month to a staggering 31,941. The number of vehicles seized to date has also shot up to 8,229. The imposition of the island-wide curfew was accompanied by a ban on liquor sales and closure of bars across the country. This situation saw a rise in illicit liquor production, and to crack down on these operations, raids are conducted. In Badulla, officers of the Excise Department raided a cattle pound located behind a house in the area of Vevalhinna last night, which was used in illicit liquor production. Elsewhere in Polonnaruwa, Aranagangvila police arrested 2 suspects involved in illegal liquor production last night in the area of Dimbulagala. What's more, the Colombo Excise Special Operation Unit conducted a raid in the area of Othekale of Jaila, which led to the arrest of 2 suspects involved in illegal liquor production. During the raid, equipment used for distilling worth 1.5 million rupees, along with 60 Goda barrels, were seized by the police.
අප නිරීක්ෂණය කළේ දිව ඉන පුරා කිසිසේත්ම අපේක්ෂා නොකළ ආකාරයේ නීති විරෝධී මත්පැන් ව්‍යාප්තියක් සිදුව පවතින බව. ඒ වගේම ගෘහස්ත මට්ටමටයි මුල්තැන ලැබී තිබෙන්නේ ව්‍යාපාරික මට්ටමටත් වඩා. මිනිස් සිරුරට අතිශයින්ම අහිතකර දේවල් මේ නීති විරෝධී මත්පැන් වලට ඇතුළු වෙන්නට පුළුවන්. මරණය දක්වා වූ ඕනෑම ප්‍රතිඵලයක් ලැබීමේ අවදානමක් පවතිනවා. ඒ නිසා මෙවැනි නීති විරෝධී මත්පැන් ජනගත වීම කොවිඩ් අනතුර හා සමානවම බරපතල අන්තරාකාරී ස්වභාවයක්. මේ අතරතුර තවත් සිදුවන ක්‍රියාදාමයක් තමයි විශේෂයෙන්ම සමාජ ජාල ආශ්‍රිතව මෙවැනි මත්පැන් නිෂ්පාදනය කරනු ලබන ආකාරය වැඩසටහන් නිපදවා ප්‍රචාරය කිරීම. ඔවුන් මේ නොදැන හෝ දැන සිදු කරන මේ ක්‍රියාව තුළ බරපතල වරදක් ඔවුන් විසින් සිදු කරනු ලබනවා. අපි දැනටමත් එවැනි පුද්ගලයන් සම්බන්ධ තොරතුරු සොයාගෙන තිබෙනවා. මේ ඇඳිරි නීති කාල සීමාව නිමා වූ පසුව ඔවුන්ට එරෙහිව දැඩි නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමට සුරාපතු දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව අදහස් කරනු ලබනවා.
The effects of the lockdown is not only felt by the humans, but it is also having a profound impact on some animals, especially stray dogs. A person was seen treating a sick dog on the road near the Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo. In the meantime, musical performances organized by members of the Tri-Forces, police and artists were worked off yesterday as well to boost the spirits of the people living in apartment complexes. The performances were seen in the suburbs of Colombo.
With the Gramanilidari Association reversing their decision to boycott the government's relief provision process, officials in their respective localities engaged in their duties as usual today. With that being the case, the services provided by the government to ease the burden on the people during the prevailing lockdown continued successfully for yet another day.
The Gramanilidari Association yesterday decided against their planned boycott of the process of distributing the government's relief allowance of 5,000 rupees to people. As a result, they were seen attending to their daily duties today. The association, however, says that they will now carry out the relevant activities only in accordance with the circulars issued by the Secretary to the Prime Minister.
බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ ඇමතුමා එක්ක කතා කරපු වෙලාවේදී එතුමා එකඟ වුණා මුලින්ම නිලධාරී සහ දේශපාලඥයෝ එකතු වෙලා හදපු මූලික ලයිස්තුව පදනම් කරගෙන මේ කටයුතු ඉදිරියට යන්න යම් කිසි කෙනෙක් අයින් කරන්න ඕන නම් අයින් කරන්නත් කෙනෙක් ඇතුළත් වෙන්න තියෙනවා නම් ඒ අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න අගමැති ලේකම්තුමා නිකුත් කරපු චක්‍රලේඛන පදනම් කරගෙන පමණක් මේ කටයුතු ඉදිරියට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න අවශ්‍ය උපදෙස් චක්‍රලේඛන මගින් දැනුම් දෙන්න එතුමා පොරොන්දු වුණා.
Meanwhile, a Samurdi officer was reportedly attacked in the area of Kolavenigama of Deniaya and was admitted to the Deniaya base hospital today. The Deniaya police has arrested the suspect. In the meantime, another consignment of medical equipment weighing 16 metric tons arrived at the Katunayaka airport last night, with the consignment yet to be handed over to the Prime Minister. In another development, the Small and Medium Scale Apparel Manufacturers Association handed over a stock of protective gears to the Prime Minister today. This was done under the guidance provided by Director of the Hospital Service Council of the National Hospital, Venerable Rajavalle Subhuti Thera. In the meantime, excess produce of the farmers of Polonaruwa, Hinguragoda, Alahara and Madirigiriya were purchased by government officials today. The Civil Defence Force purchased the harvest of bananas and distributed it among the people who reside under the jurisdiction of the Burlasgamu Urban Council free of charge. Elsewhere, the Dambulla Dedicated Economic Centre, which was closed recently, will be open for tomorrow for business activities as usual. The Economic Centre will open from 6 am to 6 pm tomorrow.
We will see you again after this break. Stay tuned.
නිෂ්පාදිත දිනය කවදත් අලුත් වටවල තේ අරගන්න.
වටවල තේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ තේ එක.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, a study in Australia has placed Sri Lanka in the top 10 in an index which indicates how efficient and effective the leadership of the country and the preparedness of its health system were in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. What's more, Sri Lanka's military-run quarantine facilities are also praised, saying that there was no government control of information. The Institute of Certified Management Accountants Australia commissioned the study to evaluate the response and leadership shown in each country in addressing the virus outbreak.
CFO and COO of the Institute of Certified Management Accountants Australia, Dr. Chris D'Souza, says that never has good leadership been more critical and relevant in our lifetime than today, as countries around the world struggle to fight the COVID-19 crisis. In a recent study conducted by the Institute to evaluate the response and leadership shown in each country and to develop a global response to infectious diseases index or GRID, places Sri Lanka in the top 10 in the index. The report says that as the origin of the novel coronavirus in Wuhan was announced, Sri Lankan authorities started to take vigilance in stopping the potential danger. It means how the military forces and the National Intelligence Service were put on high alert, and that the government created specialized aviation and border control expert teams to track the movement of all inbound tourists and with a potential threat. The report also credits Sri Lanka as being one of the first countries to send rescue missions to Wuhan to evacuate 33 Sri Lankan families. While lauding the island's military-run quarantine facilities, it says, quote, those in the military facility were given full access to information and there was no government control of information, hence increasing its reliability. This explains why Sri Lanka is ranked 10th on the GRID index alongside countries such as Hong Kong and Taiwan, unquote. The document also pins Sri Lanka's commendable response to the pandemic on the country's public health system, which is free for all citizens. It also gives credit to the country's free education system, saying that it trained thousands of well-qualified healthcare professionals and paramedical workforce for many decades, all free of charge.
Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa insists that the Election Commission has no power to postpone the election without fixing another date. Issuing a communique, the PM said that such mandatory legal requirements cannot be ignored on the basis of speculation as to what may or may not happen weeks and months into the future. He also pointed the finger at the opposition for attempting to sabotage the government's anti-coronavirus campaign from the very inception.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa released a media communique today on the coronavirus pandemic and the postponement of parliamentary elections. He accuses the opposition leader for attempting to sabotage the anti-coronavirus campaign at the very outset by personally encouraging protests against the quarantine process. The opposition leader is also accused of trying to undermine government services, including the health service, with the argument that the president had no power to allocate funds for government services after the dissolution of parliament. The PM adds that now the opposition say that the Gazette dissolving parliament should be rescinded as the new parliament has to meet before the 2nd of June and the parliamentary election cannot be held before that. He goes on to say that things have to come back to normal sooner or later, and in 11 of the 25 administrative districts, there has been no coronavirus patients at all. In another 7 districts, there have been only 1 or 2 patients and 5 to 7 patients in 2 more districts. Only 5 districts have a high incidence of coronavirus patients. In his communique, the Prime Minister recalled that on the 2nd of March, the President dissolved Parliament and fixed April 25th for the poll and 14th of May for the first meeting of the new Parliament. 10 days later, when the first coronavirus patient was found, the President did not have the power to postpone the poll. The PM notes that under Section 24, subsection 3 of the Parliamentary Elections Act No. 1 of 1981, when the poll cannot be held on the day fixed by the President, the Election Commission is mandatorily required to fix another day for the poll. He says, quote, they have no power to postpone the poll without fixing another date. Such mandatory legal requirements cannot be ignored on the basis of speculation as to what may or may not happen weeks and months into the future. The Election Commission should first fulfill its duties under Section 24, subsection 3, and thereafter take up for discussion any outstanding issues.
Moving on with other stories, Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne is confident that suspects linked to the Easter Sunday spate of terror will be brought before law. Speaking to media, he noted that the present mechanism is operating very well, and as a result, the government was able to relaunch the probes which were lacking momentum.
හරියට ක්‍රියාත්මක නොවිච්ච පරීක්ෂණ අපි ඉතාමත්ම සූක්ෂම විදියට අපි පටන් අරන් තියෙනවා. එතකොට බුද්ධි අංශ සියල්ලටම මම දැනුම් දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ පරීක්ෂණ පවත්වන පොලිසිය අංශවලට අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු ලබා දෙන්න, සහයෝගය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. ඒ අනුව ඒ යාන්ත්‍රණය ඉතාමත්ම හොඳින් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා. ඒ යාන්ත්‍රණයට අනුව තමයි පසුගිය දවස්වල මරාගෙන මැරෙන බෝම්බකරුවන් සමග සම්බන්ධතා පවත්වපු අය බොහෝ දෙනෙක් අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න අපිට පුළුවන් වෙලා තිබුණේ. මම ඉතාමත්ම වගකීමෙන් කියනවා මේ අවස්ථාවේ මේ රටේ ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්වරයා විදියට පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය නිසා මියගිය අපේ අහිංසක රටවැසියන්ට ඒ ප්‍රහාරයෙන් තුවාල වෙලා අදටත් රෝහල් වල දුක් විඳින ඒ අහිංසක පුරවැසියන්ට අපි අපෙන් කරන්න ඕන යුතුයකම අපි ඉෂ්ට කරනවා. වරදිකරුවන් නීතිය හමුවට අපි අරන් එනවා.
Now, the Ministry of Transport has taken steps to provide transport facilities to employees who are resuming work on the 20th of April. However, transportation can only be used by the employees by strictly adhering to stipulated safety guidelines.
Government imposed an island-wide curfew on the 20th of March in order to prevent the spreading of the novel coronavirus within the country. However, the Ministry of Transport announced today that it will operate public transport services to provide transportation facilities to employees of both private and public sectors carrying the license of essential services.
මේ වන විට සකස් කරලා තියෙනවා. සෞඛ්‍යාංශ වලින් මේ වන විට අපිට උපදෙස් ලබා දීලා තියෙන්නේ බස් රථයකට 20ක් 30ක් අතර ප්‍රමාණයකට මහජනතාව සීමා කරන්නට කියලා. මේ පිළිබඳව අපි සියලුම ඩිපෝ කළමනාකරුවන් රීදුරු මහතුරුන් සහ කොන්දොස්තර මහතුරුන් දැනුවත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මහජනතාවත් ඒ ගැන විශේෂ අවධානයක් යොමු කරනවා නම් ඉතාමත් හොඳයි.
Buses were also decontaminated before being used for public transport. It has been 30 days since the railway services were used by public and private sector employees. The Railway Department stated that only the office trains will be deployed for this purpose out of the 400 trains available starting from Monday the 20th.
දුම්රිය දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව වශයෙන් කාර්යාල දුම්රිය ධාවනය සඳහා සියලු කටයුතු මේ වෙනකොට සූදානම් කරමින් පවතිනවා. මේ අවස්ථාවේදී රටේ පවතින ඇඳිරිදි තත්ත්වයේ උඩ සාමාන්‍ය මගින්ට දුම්රිය භාවිතා කිරීමට අවස්ථාවක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. මගින් පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කාලවකවානු වලට ගමන් කිරීමටයි. ඒ නිසා මේ අවස්ථාවේදීත් ඒ කාලසටහනට තියෙන තමයි කාර්යාල දුම්රිය ධාවනය කරන්නේ.
The passengers should maintain distance when purchasing tickets, when awaiting for the train at the platform and inside the train compartments. Only 50 people will be allowed in one compartment and it is mandatory to wear face masks. The Railway Department also requests the people with cough, cold or high temperature to refrain from using the railway services. Furthermore, begging and unauthorized trading in the railway premises is totally prohibited.
We will be back after this short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, AdaDerana is no stranger to lending a hand to our people affected by the prevailing curfew, which was imposed to spread the coronavirus outbreak in the country. The villagers of Parangevadiya, a border village in the Horopatan area in the Anuradhapura district, donated 3 metric tons of rice to AdaDerana to be distributed among the public who are very much in need of it. Meanwhile, Sita Holdings, together with AdaDerana, distributed essential commodities to the needy people in Dodangol, a village in Madamahanura, yesterday. Dialogue Relief Services is also holding hands with AdaDerana for this operation. In addition, AdaDerana launched a project to provide medical equipment to hospitals treating COVID-19 affected patients. Accordingly, AdaDerana donated medical equipment to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital in collaboration with LOLC. Now, Moody's Investor Service has placed Sri Lanka's long-term foreign currency issuer and senior unsecured B2 ratings under review for downgrade. The decision is prompted by Moody's assessment that the acute tightening in global financing conditions, fall in export revenue and sharp slowdown in GDP growth as a result of the global coronavirus outbreak exacerbate Sri Lanka's existing government liquidity and external vulnerability risks, raising risk of heightened financing stress and macroeconomic instability. Moreover, it says that the economic and financial shock will further dim medium-term prospects for reforms that would meaningfully strengthen Sri Lanka's fiscal and external position. The rapid and widening spread of the coronavirus outbreak, deteriorating global economic outlook, and falling asset prices are creating a severe and extensive credit shock across many sectors, regions, and markets. Now, Moody's says that for Sri Lanka, the current shock transmits mainly through capital outflows, a marked local currency depreciation, wider risk premia, and sharp drop in GDP growth that raised the sovereign's debt burden, liquidity pressure, and cost of external debt servicing. It notes that this shock occurs at a time when Sri Lanka's credit profile is highly vulnerable, given low reserve coverage of large forthcoming external debt payments and very weak debt affordability. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.